Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about gentleness. I know that this is going to sound similar to kindness or maybe even goodness, but I want to try to hit a different area when I speak on gentleness. I want to read in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 6 through 8, and it reads like this. This is the Apostle Paul talking. We were not looking for praise from men, not from you or anyone else. As apostles of Christ, we could have been a burden to you, but we were gentle among you, like a mother caring for her little children. We loved you so much that we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you have become so dear to us. See, here Paul is saying, like, we could have taken advantage of our apostolic position, of our leadership. Like, you know, you go to church, everybody loves their pastor and will do anything for their pastor. Like, even in these times, there's so many people reaching out to us, and I'm thinking like, oh man, I feel bad. I should be reaching out to all the countless people that are worried about me. And thank you for your love and appreciation. I know the pastors all around are feeling the same thing. But Paul is saying, I could have easily taken advantage of that. But on the contrary, I gave of my time, of myself, of the little that I had to be a blessing, not a burden, but a blessing to you. As a mother takes care of her little children, he cared and attended with gentleness. You see, when Paul is talking to the Thessalonians, he didn't flatter them. He didn't try to butter them up. He didn't seek their praise. He didn't become a burden to them. He and Silas, his missionary travel partner, completely focused their efforts on presenting God's message of salvation to this church, the people of Thessalonica. And his desire was that nothing interfere, nothing be a stumbling block, nobody be able to say, you see, that's why they're doing this. You see, I knew they had a hidden agenda or hidden motives. This was important. Why? Because the Thessalonian believers had their lives changed by God and not by Paul. You see, many times when we just become the one person in the highlight, whether it's a ministry, whether it's a church, a different organization, like if we kind of become the man, that's very dangerous, because if something happens to the man, whether I move, whether I fall into sin, whether something happens to me, God has other plans for me, then where the man goes, people's faith also goes. People's passions, people's devotions, people's commitments. And so what Paul was trying to do is get himself out of the way. You've heard the Phil Wigman song, right? I could play the background or clear the stage. That's Lecrae. I can play the background. But they're both applicable in this point. And what Paul's trying to do is this exactly. I don't want people to look to me, but to look to God. I don't want to flatter them up. I don't want to butter them up. I don't want to be a burden to them where they remember me, even if they desire to wishfully serve me. But I just want to be here to serve them, be equal to them, and point them to the only one that can truly save them. You see, it was God who had changed their lives, not Paul. It was Christ's message they believed, not simply Paul or Silas's message. When we witness for Christ, our focus should not be on the impressions we make. I mean, it's good to do things with excellence. It's good to serve people well and to reach them in their needs. But at the end of the day, we don't want to be what impresses them. I once heard a message a long time ago. Visited the only church I ever visited in Phoenix. It was a conference I went to a long time ago, and one of the messages that stood out to me, and the point of this message was that when the forensic team comes and observes the work that was done through your life, through your ministry, will they find your fingerprints all around, or will they find only Christ's fingerprints? And my desire is, like Paul's, that we become gentle in such a way that we don't leave any prints on people's lives. We want to impact people, but at the end of the day, we want God through our lives to be the one that truly impacts and ministers to others. As true ministers of Christ, we should point to Him, not to ourselves. Gentleness is often overlooked as a personal trait in our society, especially among leaders. Why? Because power, assertiveness, gain more respect, even though no one likes to be bullied, right? But those are the alpha dogs. Those are the ones that kind of climb up into leadership. However, gentleness is love in action. It's being considerate. It's meeting the needs of others, allowing time. Paul is saying, not only am I giving you my ministry, but of my time, my life, allowing time to talk to other people. But not only that, but to listen to other people's needs, allowing time for other people to simply just talk to you. I remember there was times when we would start going to the homeless ministry as a youth, and I would tell them, look, we're not there as a delivery drop-off service, right? We weren't Uber Eats before Uber Eats existed. We were there, yes, to drop off a physical need, but a lot of these people, due to certain circumstances, drugs, addictions, whatever, they basically abandoned their family, or their family has abandoned them, and they simply just maybe want somebody to talk to remember, to reminisce, to know what it's like for somebody to care about them. And some of our greatest lessons that we learned were in those seasons, and greatest influence of ministry was during those times that we took a simple opportunity simply just to hear them out. Not just to go there and minister and minister and minister, but just to sit with them and allow them to be ministered. And many times we ourselves were ministered as well. You see, allowing time for other people to talk, being willing to learn, it is an essential trait for both men and women to maintain a gentle attitude in our relationship with others. My wife always reminds me, Gabby, think about this. Many times, especially in homeschooling right now with our kids, and I'm like, Jeremiah, Judah, you know how to do this. Like, just think, son, 2 + 2, right? This is easy. This is easy math. But they're just frustrated. They're tired. They're not trying to sit behind a screen all day. And sometimes Gabby's like, Aaron, remember to be gentle. So what does it mean to be gentle? It doesn't mean just to be right. Even if I have to be wrong, it's not that I'm trying to impose my will, impose my truth, impose what they need to learn or know. It's being gentle means sometimes humbling ourselves, meeting people where they're at, and simply just being patient, being considerate, giving of our life. You would think it'd be obvious for people to want to walk with people in this journey, following Jesus, because the whole thing about being a disciple of Christ is making other disciples of Christ. Paul said, follow me, be imitators of me as I am an imitator of Christ. And you would think it'd be obvious for most believers to walk with people in this journey. However, that's not the case. If we're honest, it's frustrating dealing with certain people. Like, how many times have we, gone through this before? And it's like we confront somebody, we try to challenge somebody, we try to encourage somebody, and it's like these people never know, never grow, never learn, never mature. However, sometimes that's us. and we got to learn to be gentle with people, not just walk with those that walk fast with us, but to remember that sometimes we don't feel like walking at all. And there was somebody that took us by the hand. There was somebody that was there for us and was gentle and patient with us. And I pray that today we ask God's Spirit, for that fruit of gentleness, that we don't be the ones that leave our imprints on people's lives, that we're so gentle, ministering, dealing, talking, having relationships, loving and pouring into all God has called us to do, that we be so gentle that our markings, our imprints, our fingerprints aren't what lasts, but the fingerprints of Jesus Christ alone. God bless you.